Hi friends, this is Molly with Soul School Spiritual Guidance and Healing, and welcome to another episode of Metaphysics with Molly. Thank you guys so much for being here with me today. So, if you didn't catch my last episode of Metaphysics with Molly, it's just kind of this new thing I came up with. We are going to be discussing topics of metaphysics that I often don't see addressed elsewhere in the spiritual community. Today's particular topic is going to be Dreamwork, which I'm really excited about. I've got my little note cards here, and I have basically what I want to talk about today is based a little bit on philosophy, a little bit on scientific research, and a lot of it on personal experience, okay? I'm somebody who's been doing dream work for over 20 years, so I am going to be talking a lot about how that has served me on my own personal path towards well-being. But before we get into that, I do want to let you guys know that dream work is one of the topics that I am offering support and guidance on in my spiritual guidance and healing sessions. So if you guys head over to soulschoolspiritual.com, in fact, I've dropped a link for you guys down below. You guys can book a session with me in which we talk specifically about subconscious integration techniques, of which Dreamwork is one of them. And basically how that can serve your higher purpose of self-empowerment, emotional healing, psychic development, whatever your goals are. They're really very open-ended session. I do call spirit in at that time, and so there's oftentimes like little mini readings that go on during those sessions. If you guys are interested in tarot and astrology, obviously I also offer those services over on my website as well, but I just wanted to go ahead and plug that particular service, the spiritual guidance and healing sessions, and to let you know that until June 20th, I'm still running my special. If you use the coupon code SPRINGTIME, all one word, that's going to get you 20% off any of the services that I offer on that website, whether you want to do a video recording or a live session with me. All right, so real quick side note, I want to apologize for like my posture and position is all very different. I actually sprained my ankle this afternoon. So instead of eating pescado frito at El Toro right now, like I really wish I was doing, I decided to go ahead and do this talk with you guys today. Like I said, I got my note cards ready. I got these ready this morning. This was something that I wanted to spend a lot of time preparing. Freddie's here too. He's chasing a fly. So that I could really speak about it in a very articulate manner. So if you guys are interested, hi baby, in the topic of metaphysics, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a short definition of that. Metaphysics is basically the branch of philosophy that deals with the nature of reality. And so we talk about dream work. Now, this is something that philosophers have been discussing, like dreams. The great philosopher Billie Eilish said, when we all go to sleep, when we all fall asleep, where do we go? Right? That's a question that goes as far back in the Western tradition. And when I say the Western tradition, I mean basically the foundation of our current scientific atmosphere, beliefs, findings, environment that we find ourselves in, can really be traced back to Plato and Aristotle. And they are two people, probably not the first, definitely not the first, who ever asked that question. Obviously, it's something that shamans have been aware of for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, but to put these in, they were the first two to really enter these into a conversation that is considered valid by scientists today. And so that's kind of why I always go back to Plato and Aristotle. A lot of the conversations that we're still having today in the realm of philosophy were started, at least the direct lineage was started with them. And that was about 2,300 years ago. All right, so over 2,000 years ago. And Plato first wrote about dreams when he said that he made the assertion that he was very obsessed with reason, the rational mind, right? Or at least understanding what is the rational mind, what exists beyond what we can observe with the rational mind. And he made the assertion that the rational mind is absolutely suspended while we're in dream state. And Aristotle kind of countered that. Aristotle, by the way, was Plato's student, for those of you guys who didn't know. Brief intro to philosophy there. And said, well, I don't know that reason is fully suspended when we're in dream state, but what we can say is that sensory perception, at least visual perception, is suspended while we're in dream state, meaning the things that we encounter in our dreams are not things that we're sensing in our environment. We're picking that stuff up from somewhere in our inner world, okay? So ideas, images, things that are already in our mind is what we are experiencing when we are in dream state. So when I talk about dream work, what I'm talking about is the ability to master our navigation through that inner world, whether we are in wake state, semi-conscious states such as meditation, or if we're just full-on sleeping, okay? How can you become the master of what appears to you in your dreams? Now, this is obviously with some limitation. I don't know if anybody, maybe there are great shamans in the world who are fully in control of what they're experiencing when they're in dream state. But what I've done today is I've talked about, should I do 5? Okay. I don't have a card for level number 5, but I'm going to go ahead and discuss it. 5 different levels of dream awareness. All right. I'm going to talk about my navigation through these different levels of dream awareness, what they mean. You guys can begin to think about where you generally fall when it comes to your own dream awareness, and begin to look at how you can advance yourself, become more advanced in the realm of dream awareness. This is what I'm calling dream work, and how that can benefit you in your personal life. Let's go ahead, and first I want to talk about what are the personal benefits, and I'm speaking from experience here, of dream awareness. 95%, I believe that's the statistic that I talked about in another one of my readings or videos that I did recently. I came across this study, or this psychologist, who said that about 95% of our activities, our behaviors, what we do in our wake state is actually being controlled by the subconscious mind. So my subconscious integration theory talks about how we can become aware of what's going on essentially behind our backs, how we can become aware of what ideas and beliefs have been planted into our subconscious mind, and how we can begin to reprogram, how we can begin to integrate that into our conscious reality, our conscious wake state, so that we can have more control over ourselves emotionally, mentally, in our practical lives, in our actions and behaviors. There's just so many different ways in which you can really turn your life around through subconscious integration. And today we're going to be talking specifically how dream work can help you with that. The Hermetic principle that I'm invoking here is as within, so without. If you are not in control, or let's just go ahead and say, the more in control you are of your subconscious mind, of your dream state, the more in control you feel of your waking life. So, what are some benefits of dream awareness? First of all, I am going to go ahead and talk about my own personal experiences with post-traumatic stress disorder. In fact, CPTSD, which is complex or compound. I'm not sure what it means, but basically this means there wasn't just one event that gave me PTSD. There were several that I went through. The one that I think has caused me the most problems, the most struggles throughout my adulthood, is a car accident that I was in when I was 17 years old. There was a 2.5-hour recovery effort after that, in which I was in a conscious state and trapped inside a car while, I'm sorry, I should have given you guys a trigger warning. I'll put a trigger warning in the description box below. But yeah, I was trapped in this car for 2.5 hours while they essentially had to remove the roof of the car in order to extract me and my friend from the vehicle. And I was conscious during that entire time. I had no memory of that day for 15 years, which was kind of great because I had no PTSD symptoms for 15 years. But it was very essential. I'm actually very grateful that those memories came back, that I was able to work through those. And Dreamwork is not the only thing that I did to overcome PTSD, but it's definitely been a very, very important part of that. So I've actually been in several conversations with people lately, or just kind of chimed in when people talk about how they have really, really disturbed dream states that are a result of their PTSD. And as somebody who has really, really mastered that, and I'm talking about not just the memories of being trapped in the car, but I actually survived a sudden cardiac arrest that day, which is when your heart stops. If you do not survive a sudden cardiac arrest, they call it death, okay? So at one point in time, I did recall memories of being resuscitated, which it took me years to get my mind around and to heal from. But when I talk about I've had PTSD, this is something that I've worked through, please understand that it is so much more possible for us to heal ourselves from PTSD than a lot of people out there believe. So there's just my own personal experience with that. It has also helped me at different points in my life to heal myself from anxiety and depression. Now, disclaimer, I am not a licensed clinical therapist. I have taken several graduate courses in psychology and undergraduate courses just as a part of my training as an educator. But I just want to say that everything that I'm talking about here, these are self-help techniques, and they do not replace any sort of help that could be provided by a doctor or a mental health professional. So I just want to go ahead and put that out there. I'm really going off of personal experience here when I talk about these. But there are other benefits, even if you don't have PTSD, anxiety, or depression. In fact, you guys, you know what? I was in my research today, I found something really, really interesting, that people who remember their dreams are less likely to be suicidal. That was kind of mind-blowing to me, that research shows, in fact, if you're capable of lucid dreaming, the chances of you being suicidal drop significantly. All right, so there's lots and lots of benefits for your mental health. But other than that, tapping into your subconscious mind, allowing yourself to enter into a creative dream state, and even one in which you have some control over the types of dreams that you're having, is something that can really, really help with creative problem solving. So basically, when I get into talking about people who don't remember their dreams, a big reason why is because their analytical brain is overactive throughout the day. All right, I call this the all work no play dreamer. So this is somebody that when they go to sleep, what's really going on is their subconscious mind isn't working so much as they're processing what they've brought in, what they've observed, what they're dealing with their conscious mind. All right, being able to bring in the benefits of the subconscious mind allow for better creative problem solving. All right. In other words, when you're confronted with a new problem that you've never solved before, or one that you've thought that you had solved again and again and again, and it's time to come up with some creative solutions for any problem in your life. I'm talking about money problems, work problems, relationship problems, personal issues, right? Creative problem solving is it's an aspect of our right brain capabilities, right? And so we can really tap into our right brain capabilities, which include creativity. They also include psychic abilities. Okay, so if you guys are interested in developing your creative problem solving, just creativity in general, healing emotional distress, overcoming traumatic memories, or developing psychic abilities. And if you guys are into manifestation, quantum theories of manifestation, then there are so many benefits to be gained by increasing your dream awareness. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through my 4 cards, and then I'm going to make a note right now. And put it on the bottom of my stack so I don't forget to talk about 5 different levels of dream awareness, how you can tell that that's your dominant level of dream awareness, and what you can do to advance yourself. By the time we get to the end of this, we'll be talking about what is the fullest potential that you can achieve? What are the dramatic changes that you can experience in your wake life if you become more and more dream aware? All right, so this is Dreamwork 101, Metaphysics with Molly. Let's 15-minute introduction, whatever, you guys. Thanks for being here. If you enjoy this type of material, please make sure that you comment down below, subscribe so you can get updates when I post on this issue again. I do, if you're new to my channel, also offer psychic readings. I do tarot readings. It's been primarily a tarot and astrology channel, but with the name change and the rebranding from Soul School Tarot and Astrology to Soul School Spiritual Guidance and Healing, this is a part of what I'm trying to introduce to my channel. So if you like it, comment, hit the like button so that I know that I've got an audience out there and I can continue talking about these topics. So level 0, this is what I'm talking about when I talk about different levels of dream awareness. They're not 1 through 5. I'm going to be talking about levels 0 through 4. Level 0 is what I call the non-dreamer, or as I said before, the all work, no play dreamer. All right. These are people who claim that they do not dream, or that they do not typically recall their dreams. So let's talk about why that might be so. I do want to say that if you're not getting enough sleep, if you're not actually entering into a REM cycle, in fact, I talked to a friend of mine recently who was diagnosed with sleep apnea. And I would say she's not remembering her dreams because she's not ever really, her body is not allowing her to enter into a REM state. Because with sleep apnea, you're constantly waking yourself up because you are not able to properly breathe while you're laying down, all right? Other things that can lead to not remembering your dreams are intoxication. I'm full disclosure, you guys, okay? There have been points in my life where I was not doing a good job dealing with my own emotional traumas, my mental health issues, and I had to medicate myself to get to sleep. And that was in a number of ways. I've never been a big drinker. I know a lot of people who are. If you drink before you sleep every night, chances are you're dreaming, but you're not really remembering your dreams, and you're definitely not in a state where you're able to become lucid during your dreams. And lucidity is just the ability to recognize that you're dreaming and to have some sort of agency over the experiences that you're having while you're in dream state. There have been times, I'm going to be perfectly honest, where I was smoking marijuana before I went to sleep every night. That was just the way in which I self-medicated. And during those times, I'm sure I was having crazy dreams, but I was not remembering them in the morning, and therefore I was really gaining no benefit from whatever was going on in my sleep state. Other things that can contribute to that are just being having very high levels of stress, okay? In fact, when you're not dreaming, if you're not producing dreams or remembering dreams, chances are that you are experiencing an overdominance or an overworking of your left brain capabilities. So this is logic, this is reason, all right? This is the things that we observe with our conscious mind during our wake state. If you're a very, very goal-oriented person, if you're a very, very, let's say more in your masculine, because the left and the right brain, by the way, syncing them, allowing them to come into balance is a part of bringing the inner masculine and inner feminine into union within self. And that's a very important principle when it comes to spirituality. That's sort of why it's something that I'm including on a channel where I talk about spirituality. The feminine brain is the more creative brain. It's the brain where we dream from. It's the brain from which we draw our psychic abilities, and then just creativity, receptivity, the ability to just kind of go with the flow. The masculine brain is the one that's always doing something, always solving a problem. So if you're very, very highly goal-oriented, if you're highly anxious in your wake state, if you are... I don't want to say that because I don't know about the science of it, but Spirit is coming in to say that a lot of people with ADHD, a lot of people who just don't have very good focus, and that manifests in a way that they are, I might need to pause so I can close windows. I can hobble around on my little sprained ankle and close these windows. All right, I'm going to do that. Okay, so of course, as soon as I get the window shut, like the rain stops. Say lovey. All right, let's go ahead and continue. Sorry, a second pause because I did decide to just go ahead and do a little bit of a Google on ADHD, the correlation between ADHD and the dream state. So really, essentially, I don't think it's the actual presence of ADHD that causes this to be true, but some of the anxiety that stems from trying to cope with the very rational, logical world that we live in while you have ADHD. Is that dream states tend to be more disturbed for people who have ADHD. So I'm going to go ahead and add that to the list of issues that can really, really benefit from dream awareness. All right. So anyways, if you're really stressed out, or if your body's not sleeping enough, or your body's not in a state where it allows you to get to sleep, you are more likely to not remember dreams or to have dream issues. Now, how can you improve this? Because the examples that I gave before, ADHD aside, this is a product of an over-dominant left brain. The goal for people who either don't dream or don't remember the dreams is to try to engage their right brain or their feminine side of their brain more often. Now, I do want to go ahead and add a little caveat here that going back to the time of Plato and Aristotle and even before, Western society is very much, and more these days, global society is very much one which exalts masculine over feminine principles. I mean, hello, patriarchy, but also even just masculine and feminine ways of knowing. So, for instance, when I talk about the right brain capabilities, the capabilities of the feminine side of the brain, we're talking about different ways of knowing than are typically valued in society, all right? So we're not talking about logic and reason. We're talking about flow state, creativity, psychic abilities, things like that, all right? So if you're somebody who is masculine brain dominant, just understand you're a product of the society and you can overcome that. In fact, the quote that is at the heart of subconscious integration theory is one from my favorite philosopher, Rob Bresney, who's been in my life longer than Dreamwork. And that is, he has this quote that says, brainwash yourself before somebody nasty beats you to it. And the fact of the matter is, you guys, somebody nasty, aka society, has already beaten us all to it. We've already been brainwashed into discounting certain capabilities of the human mind and prioritizing others. So you have the ability to reprogram the importance that you place on your masculine versus feminine brains. So what are some practical solutions if you're somebody who just does not remember your dreams? Mindfulness exercises. So basically anything that's going to help you be aware of the mind-body connection. There are multiple channels on YouTube that are just devoted to mindfulness. There's different websites and apps that are devoted to mindfulness. And I know because this was something that we really tried to introduce into middle school and high school, that I at least really tried to introduce into middle school and high school classrooms when I was working with students, when I was a public school teacher, because it's something that it has so many mental health benefits. And it can really just kind of help you to understand the connection between mind and body. And in fact, emotions are a physical reaction to our environment. Emotions are rooted in the physical body. And so even just for for emotional balance, mindfulness is exceptionally important. These are just little exercises. Like one of them was that I used to play was just this video where we watched rainfall for like a minute. I did this 60-second mindfulness with my 8th grade students, and we would just watch the beach, or we would watch rain dripping off of leaves, something like that, that just really asks you to put away everything that is not here and now and focus on the here and now, and then to check in with your body and see how it feels when you do that. So anything that promotes that awareness of the mind-body connection is going to help you to just balance things out a little bit. It gives your left brain a little bit of a break throughout the day, so that when you do enter sleep at night, it's just a little less organizing to do. It's a little less of a chaotic place, and you don't have to spend all of your sleep time, all of your dream state, focusing on organizing what you have observed and are trying to process with your conscious mind. Another concept that's very important, and each of these is cumulative. It's important at level 0 if you want to advance, and it's important at every level of dream awareness, okay? The second one is hemi-syncing. All right, hemi-syncing is a scientific term which talks about the way in which right now, like the default for most of us is that our left brain and right brain are really operating independently of one another. And so how can we, through awareness of the different sides of our brain, through awareness of things like breathing techniques, there's even sensory activities that you can do that will help to bring your left brain and your right brain into to where they're not just operating completely separately of one another, okay? Your right brain becomes aware of your left brain, and your left brain becomes aware of your right brain. So some of the ways that you can do this are EMDR, which is eye movement desensitization reprocessing. I don't know, I abbreviated it there. But EMDR is actually a technique that was developed by psychologists to help people learn how to file traumatic memories differently, rather than just having them all over in the left brain. As you move your eyes back and forth across the hemisphere, so to speak, you're able to process memories differently, process different emotional experiences differently. Binaural beats is another thing. This is something that basically it's certain sounds, you can find them all over YouTube, that you listen to, preferably through headphones, that give you certain sounds on one ear, certain sounds in the other ear, and in that way you are engaging both hemispheres of your brain as you're listening to that music. Listening to that just anytime throughout the day, or especially as you're falling to sleep at night, can definitely help you to become more aware of what is going on in your dream state, and to give your subconscious mind a little bit of time to play. Okay, we can't suppress everything that's in the subconscious mind. All work and no play. You guys have seen The Shining. You know what that does, okay? No, that's not scientific research, obviously, but in The Shining, that man goes insane, okay? And that's really essentially the moral of the story. If you're not giving your subconscious mind an opportunity to play, you are really doing yourself a great disservice. Some other ways that you can promote hemi-syncing as you're entering into dream state is through breath work. There is a breath work exercise where you can use your fingers to manipulate. I think it's used in yoga as well, to manipulate your breath. But sometimes, even after a little bit of practice, I get to where I just kind of do it mentally, where I breathe in through one nostril and my eyes close. I trace the path. I imagine the breath coming up, doing a little loop, and coming out the other nostril. And then on the next in-breath, it comes in this way and then goes out this one, all right? So it's also really helpful because it gives your conscious mind a task. You're following your breath in and out, okay? Any type of breath work where you're concentrating on the in and out motion, they say that breath is the door to spirit. I don't know the exact quote, but it can really, really help you with mindfulness. And it gives your conscious brain a task so that your subconscious brain can kind of come out of its shell a little bit and begin to play. Aromatherapy is also something that can help to assist in that process. Specifically, rose and lavender can help if you're just trying to get yourself relaxed enough to get into a state where you're able to dream. If you want, and violet is also, actually violet, peppermint, what else? Violet and peppermint are ones that I have used specifically to get into more like psychic states, levels of consciousness. We'll get to talking about all the different levels of consciousness you can achieve through dream awareness, but this is just sort of the introductory. So if you guys are looking for like really uplifting, anything that can help you with depression, you can try orange, is a really good scent for aromatherapy, and lemongrass as well. So there's lots of tools out there. Like I said, if you guys are interested in diving into this deeper, schedule a session, book a session with me for the spiritual guidance, and let me know in your intake form that you're interested in Dreamwork. I will go ahead and gather some materials for you guys. But that is my advice for those who are at level 0 dreaming, the quote unquote non-dreamer, who are wanting to advance to level 1. So what is level 1? All right. Level 1 dreamers are the observers, all right? This is somebody who dreams, and often from a first-person perspective, and they often remember their dreams, but dreams are things that happen to them, okay? Rather than anything that they are necessarily an active participant in. Some of the problems that can come up as an observer is when you have recurring dreams, when you have nightmares. Now, I want to go ahead and make this disclaimer. I just told you guys that I moved out of the observer stage. Oh my gosh, sorry you guys, I have ice on my ankle and I'm making a mess. There's water everywhere. Let me go ahead and get that set up. Thanks for your patience with me today. Thanks for being here. All right. It's about recurring dreams and nightmares, all right? 20 years that I've been doing dream work. And part of the reason why I turned my attention to this recently is because I started having recurring dreams again. Now, they didn't get me quite into the state of panic and fear and anxiety as I used to be when I was just at the observer state. But, yeah, we'll talk about dream symbolism, how everybody has their own dream symbolism, and how we can unpack that. That's something that I love to do. And I actually like to use the tarot cards to help with dream interpretation as well. Hit me up, you guys. I'm here to help you through all of this, all right? Basically, the dreams that I had recently, we're not yet. Okay, we'll get there in a second. The dreams that I used to have were two main types of dreams, recurring dreams that were, I would call nightmares, all right? One was the home invasion dream. That was scary. That was what really prompted me to begin to do dream work. And that was when my son was just a newborn, and he'll be 22 in August. So like I said, this is something that I've been doing for over 20 years. And there was a little bit of paralysis that would happen because basically I would have these dreams that somebody had broken into my house and Plato was wrong. My rational mind was definitely at work, because when that happened, I was like, I have to go save my baby. But then when I tried to, in my dream, get out of bed and get to my baby, I was frozen. Like I would fall to the ground and just not be able to move. And I remember this one particular dream where it's like I saw the shadow, for some reason, of somebody in a cowboy hat as they were approaching me. Like they were coming closer and closer and closer. And I was on the ground literally trying to grab handfuls of shag carpeting and like drag myself across the ground so that I could get to where I could save my baby. So there's just quick introduction to my own personal home invasion dreams that I used to have. Another one that I used to have would be I was in a state of panic, a state where I needed to call for help. And I'd get out my phone. Obviously this didn't really happen before cell phones were a thing. And I would try to dial for help, but I couldn't send any messages. Like I couldn't get my phone to work. There was I had one dream a couple years ago where there was this car accident and my friend, this car went off the cliff and my friend was in the car and I'm trying to text for help and text for help and text for help and I cannot, all right? So we'll get to the dream symbolism, how we can kind of break these down and understand what our dreams are trying to tell us, what's really going on in our subconscious mind. We'll get there in a second. But the one particular one that I had a lot was that I would get to my phone and the only number that I could dial was my own. That's profound, all right? So the way in which I first decided to learn how to get past that was I had a friend who was like, oh, have you ever tried lucid dreaming? And I was like, tell me about lucid dreaming. Lucid dreamers are essentially level 2 dreamers. They are not the observer, they're the actor. All right. If you guys are interested in lucid dreaming, which is basically how you can begin to take control of the experience that you're having within dream state, I do recommend that there's kind of a step before that. That if you're not like, I don't know how to do lucid dreaming, then that's okay. The step before that is dream journaling. Basically, developing metacognition. Metacognition is another term that we used to use in education, which is just becoming aware of how you think. How does your brain work? How do you think about dreams? What kind of dreams do you have? The way in which I dream journal now, because like, you guys, I've got a stack of journals. Actually, I don't even keep them that organized. I just have a collection of journals all over my house. Got pens everywhere. I love writing, but when I wake up in the morning, I'm not trying to find a pen and form the words of the dream that I just had. So I actually use my audio recorder app. And it's funny because sometimes I go back and I listen to my dreams and I'm just like groggy as all get out. I'm just trying to explain this dream that I had. But if you wake up in the morning, you remember your dreams, record it. Record the date. If you want, talk about some of the things that have been going on in your life, like what's been stressing you out. And then when you go back and you listen to that later, you can begin to understand patterns that take place within your dream state. All right, which means now you're beginning to become aware of what's happening in your subconscious mind, and you can begin to take steps towards subconscious integration. Now, lucid dreaming, if that is something that you want to do, really good advice. First step is metacognition. Think about your thoughts about dreams, because we grow up, we get these ideas and beliefs planted in us, or just that we adopt as we go through life about what it means to dream. Like, ask yourself, when we all fall asleep, where do we go? Like, what's going on? What's your own personal philosophy about the dream state? Just simply processing your own conscious thoughts about dreams before you go to sleep, like as you're falling asleep, that can really, really help you to become a more lucid dreamer. Affirmations can also help you. Setting intentions, and in fact, writing them down. If you write down the intention, I will remember my dreams, or I will become aware in the process of dreaming. Write these things down, or even just state them to yourself as you're falling asleep. The subconscious mind responds not so much to words as it does images and patterns. Okay, so if you can create images, like visualize yourself waking up in the morning remembering your dream, visualize yourself having certain types of dreams, or even just with like use your affirmations as a mantra. Repeat it to yourself that I will remember my dreams, I am in control of my dreams. Basically, like, convince yourself that you're the boss of your dream state, and it's so much more likely to happen. The third recommendation that I have for lucid dreaming is guided meditation. You guys, even after 20 years of dream work, I still use guided meditations to help me shape the type of dream experiences, to aim myself towards different levels of consciousness when I'm going to sleep at night. Not every night, but often. So that is something that can really, really help you out a lot, is guided meditation. If you guys are interested from moving from level 1 to level 2, like I said, level 2 is the actor, all right? The actor is somebody whose dream awareness is at such a state that they are able to shape events or change scenes within their dreams. In other words, you're having a dream that's not very cool and you just like, I'm gonna go somewhere else. I'm just gonna have another dream. Another option is to change the people that you're interacting with in your dream. As I was taking these notes today, it reminded me of this dream that I had years ago. We were at least at a field party, which I grew up in Kansas. That's a thing that we did. We can go out in the field and have a party. And, socializing, talking to different people. And in this dream, I remember talking to this guy and be like, oh my God, I hate this guy. I really wish I was talking to anybody else at this party. And as I had that thought, they literally morphed into this other person that I was just really, really happy to be at a field party with in my dream. So this is essentially lucid dreaming. 55% of people, and this is like a study that was done like in the Consciousness and Cognition Scientific Journal. I actually got my little citation on this one. 55% of people have had a lucid dream at least once in their life. About 23% of people have them at least once a month. So it's something that almost all of us are capable of, but if you want to increase the frequency of lucid dreams, like I said before, set intentions, write them down. If you believe in spirit guides, call upon spirit guides. If you guys are into archangels, Archangel Gabriel is the archangel of the dream state. So got a little tip for you guys there. Also, wait, what is this? Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. So basically there's lots and lots of if you are a lucid dreamer and you want to increase the likelihood of lucid dreaming, go ahead and follow all that advice that I had with level 1. Guided meditation, dream journaling, processing your conscious thoughts about the dream state. Come up with your own philosophy, you guys. Don't ever just like take the words out of my mouth and be like, that's my new way of thinking. I'm just gonna adopt what Molly said. Don't do that, please. Understand that I'm just contributing to a conversation here. And I invite you guys to do the same. So drop some comments below if you have certain thoughts, feelings, beliefs, or experiences that you think are gonna be useful to other people who are interested in this topic. But another thing that you can do if you want to increase the lucidity of your dreams is to go ahead and experiment with different states of wakefulness versus sleep state, okay? So in other words, allow yourself to go into meditation at a time that you're not like really tired and ready to go to bed, okay? Allow yourself to take naps. I am an avid nap taker. I take a nap almost every day. Really, because it's so good for my mental health, but it's also so good for just like my productivity, all right? So almost every day I have, even if it's just I lay down for 20 minutes and I let my mind chill out. Every day I do that. But allow yourself to experiment with different levels of wake state, of wakefulness, all right? Levels of consciousness. You guys can get into the different brain waves, all right? Because there are certain brain waves that are like light sleep and other brain brainwave frequencies that are like the deep sleep, all right? So REM, rapid eye movement phase, is the phase of sleep in which we typically dream. But if you allow yourself to have that subconscious playtime outside of your REM state, then you're more likely to have conscious control over your dreams when you are in REM state. That's just based on my own personal experience. So yeah, I've talked about astral wandering before, which is just allow yourself to get into a semi-hypnotic state, just a really relaxed state, and just allow your brain to wander. Allow your imagination to play. Give your, chill your conscious mind out for a minute and allow your subconscious mind to begin to play. And this is really going to, it's like the more conscious you become, consciously aware you become of your subconscious mind, the easier it is for you to kind of bridge that gap between your conscious and your subconscious minds when you're in the dream state, all right? If you want to step it up from the space where you are a lucid dreamer, then, and the more you practice this, the more natural it becomes, right? Like my recent dreams, we were gonna talk about learning your own language, your own dream symbol language. Everybody has different associations, all right? So the dreams that I was having recently were zombie apocalypse dreams. Okay, let's just go ahead and come out. And it wasn't scary, like I wasn't being attacked by zombies, but it was just like, oh, okay, well, like society is collapsing. We have to come up with new ways of interacting with people. We have to come up with new solutions. We're gonna go like build a place to live in the swamp so the zombies couldn't get to us, right? But it was like, I was doing like thinking, I was problem solving in these dreams, and it just made it like, it wasn't a scary like zombie attack dream. It was almost like I was a character in a really cool zombie apocalypse movie. Okay, so the more that you allow yourself to be the boss, to be comfortable in your different states of consciousness and subconsciousness, the more likely you are to become a lucid dreamer. But what was I going from here? Some of you guys might want to experiment with things like I said, different levels of consciousness. I didn't talk about this in the intro, but there's lots of different theories about when we all go to sleep, where do we go? Some people believe that we visit other dimensions. Some believe that we can actually travel to different places. Many people believe in the astral realm. There's actually a philosophy out there that we all have jobs in the astral realm. And when we go to sleep at night, we're actually out there doing like, what's the word that I want to use? Like mission work. Like we're stewarding in our dreams. Somehow, for those of us who, it's kind of a starseed philosophy, so if you're not into that, don't worry about it, okay? But anyways, if you are interested in it, like, I don't know, I saw it on TikTok, so just put that intention out there and see if you can manifest that. Speaking of manifestation, that's level 4, all right? Let's talk about level number 3, because level number 2 was you are the actor. Level number 1 is you're the observer or an audience member almost of your own dreams. Level 2, you're the actor. Level 3 is when you become the director of your dreams. Now, level 2, by the way, I do want to say before I move on from that, is the ideal state to achieve for those of us who have nightmares, or who have experienced nightmares, or who suffer from those disturbed dream states as a result of traumatic memory, okay, and PTSD and stuff like that. If you can get yourself to level 2, give yourself a great big high five. You've done amazing work. If you guys want to step it up from there, you can become level 3, which is what I call a director. Now, I would like to consider myself a director of my dreams. This means that when you go to sleep at night, you can set intentions, and it's okay if you're using guided meditation to help you with this, but you're able to frame your dreams. You set the scenes, you imagine the characters that you're going to meet there. You are casting and directing your dream state. This is not impossible. This is for those of us who have a very well synchronized hemispheres of our two brains, all right? So like I said, that's just psychology terms for balancing our own inner masculine and feminine when it comes to states of consciousness, all right? You can travel to different states of consciousness, astral travel, get to your astral realms, visit past lives. You can enter into auto-hypnosis. And really, this is somebody who is a director of their dream state, is somebody who doesn't have to be sleeping to be dreaming. This is somebody who is really able to transcend the lines between the wake and sleep state. If you guys really want an introduction to this, I highly recommend transcendental meditation. I love the sound of thunder, you guys. That makes for good sleep. I should be sleeping right now. But let me finish this up. I want to keep it under an hour. I know we're getting into slippery slope with that, but let's go ahead and continue. Transcendental meditation is something I discovered a long time ago, and basically I would lay down, clear my mind, get myself into a meditative state. And if you guys need advice on how to meditate, hit me up for that session, all right? And then I would imagine that I was an oak tree. What did it feel like to have roots that went all the way into the ground? What did it feel like to have leaves that could just feel the sunshine and the wind? My favorite thing to imagine myself as was a whale. I did transcendental meditation where I would imagine that I was a whale and I was moving through water as a whale, and it was freaking amazing. It was so peaceful. It was so good for what I was experiencing at that time, which was a lot of anxiety and depression. So transcendental meditation is something that you can do if you want to become more of a director. Auto-hypnosis is another one. Auto-hypnosis is basically hypnotizing yourself, but I'm going to recommend for you guys, check out the links down below. Unlock Your Life, Jyoti Hypnotic Labs. If you're really into the spiritual stuff, astral travel, talking to angels and extra dimensional entities in your dream state, check out Steve Nobel. These are all channels that I use to induce certain types, certain states of consciousness before I go to sleep. And then once you enter into that state of consciousness and the recording ends, then you're just free to wander at that particular level of consciousness. It can be a lot of fun. We can also do something that's called subconscious reprogramming, is what happens at this level. You've got to be level 3 a director if you want to do subconscious reprogramming in your sleep state. What do I mean by that? Well, we've been talking about subconscious integration, which means just becoming aware of what are your subconscious narratives that you're acting out in life. I'll give you a very personal example of one that I acquired. Most of our subconscious programming we acquired before the age of 7. This particular program tells me that it is not in my best interest to speak my personal boundaries. Okay? Now as an adult, I'm like, that's dumb. You get in a lot of really bad relationships like that, and you end up really unhappy at work and in your personal friendships and just all over the place. If you're not able to speak personal boundaries, first of all, understand this is something that a lot of us, it entered into a lot of our subconscious programming before we were at the age of 7. Then essentially you can use mantras, auto-hypnosis, all sorts of different techniques to reprogram your subconscious mind. Remember, your subconscious mind responds to images and patterns, not just words. So if you are using words, you kind of got to add something to that. We can talk about it in the session if you guys are interested in that. But subconscious reprogramming, like there have been times when I go to sleep at night and I'm kind of like, I'm not physically tossing and turning, but I feel it's almost like I go in there and I tear it down to like imagine you have a house and we tear it down to like the what is that word? Like, the frame of a house. Peel off the walls, the ceiling, everything else. You get in the frame of the house and you restructure it. right? It's this like subconscious architecture. You're remodeling your subconscious mind. This is something that I spent a lot, basically, I called it Jedi training. Like when we first went into lockdown, I was like, awesome, everybody can just kind of go away. I can be left alone and address some of the things that are in my subconscious that I would like to be able to change. All right, so if you guys want tips on that, hit me up. I think it's really, it's a beautiful, useful tool that it's an ability, a talent that we all have that we're not taught how to utilize. So if you guys, okay, I thought it was leaking and it's just the shadows of the pole chain. All right, so you guys want to be able to do that, hit me up and we can talk about that. Finally, level 4. You're not the actor, you're not the observer, you're not the director, baby doll, you're the producer. Okay, level 4 is essentially what I'm going to term quantum creation. Okay, which means if you subscribe to the philosophy that reality is not set in stone, like our future is not set in stone, like past, present, future, everything's all happening at once, and we can navigate through multiple. This would be what you guys, I'm a little hungry, so pardon my brain not working. I was on my way, like I said, I was on my way to go eat and I sprained my ankle, so we're doing this instead. No, I don't want to have it. There's my water. Okay. Multiple universes. If you believe that there are multiple universes and that we can actually hop between different realities that we're living out at this time, quantum creation is definitely up your alley. Basically, this is the ability to use your dream state to imagine the future that you want to live. Okay, so not only are you directing what's happening in your dream state, but you're using your dream state to produce actual changes in your waking life. All right, this is sort of like, this is like master level stuff. Like I said, I've been working on Dreamwork for over 20 years. So this is definitely something that I'm beginning to see the effects of in my own life. I'm stepping from being level 3, a director, into level 4, a producer. So if you guys are interested, like I said before, I'm so excited because this is getting done in less than an hour. If you guys are interested in this topic, engage in the conversation. Like I said before, drop a comment below. Let me know you're interested in it. Feel free to shoot me an email if you just kind of want to shoot the shit about Dreamwork and your own experiences. But if this is something that you would like, that's my train, you guys. Something really bad is happening, so I'm glad that this is ending and I can go tend to that, all right? If you guys want to be able to advance yourself through the different levels of dream awareness, to be able to do things like astral projection or even just metacognition, quantum creation, any of this stuff that you guys are interested in. Did I talk about soul retrieval? We can talk about soul retrieval elsewhere. It's in the category of past life visitation, but also there's just a lot of tremendous emotional healing. Yeah, I remember now. I was going to write down timeline healing. Timeline healing happens at level 3 when you're a director. That's basically the ability to visit a past version of yourself and heal them in a way that you didn't have the coping mechanisms to be able to use at a time earlier in your life when a traumatic event happened to you. So there's lots of potential for Dreamwork. If you guys are interested in it, hit me up and we will talk. We will develop a plan that you can follow in order to become somebody who is just much more aware of and in control of your dream state. And instead of just letting it be something that happens to you, allow yourself to become somebody who can utilize the dream state to improve your life in a number of different ways. So I'm going to attend to the fact that we're just like, it's monsoon season here in the Yucatan, I guess. And so I'm going to deal with that. Thank you guys so much for being here with me today and with your just patience with my rambliness. If there are any other topics that you would like me to address in Metaphysics with Molly, go ahead and drop those down in the comment section below as well. And I hope to catch you all back on my channel again soon. Take care.